Morning. Time for my weekly roundup of nonsense that's going in my head. So first thing on my mind, been discussing this and seeing it a lot, and apparently there's something called like you kind of take revenge when you stay up late at night if you've got children, as in, because obviously, as you'd expect, a lot of your time will go on looking after your children, which is fair. That's what it's all about. But instead of, obviously, when they go to sleep at 8 o'clock or whatever, what should really happen is you should be looking at about 10:30 and going, I'm going to go to sleep now. But then apparently adults find most of themselves staying up till 1, 2 in the morning, trying to claw back some of their free time. And I've sort of been a bit conscious of this recently, and I've noticed I do exactly that. So like my kids will go to bed, and then I'll I'll play on a PC or something, and then I'll sort of sit there and play on it, something really mind-numbing, that's easy to play, like a lot of these sort of simulator games, and I'll play that, and then I'll look, and it'll be like blooming 1:30 in the morning, and I'll be like, oh, it's madness. Sun's a nightmare and all this morning. It's madness, because then I'll wake up at about 7 o'clock the next day, so I'm getting like 5 hours sleep most of the time, which is crazy. That's really, I can't believe it's sustainable, particularly good for you, but hey. But I'm just wondering if a lot of other people do that. It's like you're just trying to claw back free time. I used to find that in the early days when I had children, when they were babies, and you managed to work out a way to go out one night, whether that be for a couple of beers with your friends, or you went to a friend's house for drinks, so on and so forth. I used to find myself going so over the top. Instead of just going, oh well, I'll just go out and have a couple of drinks. It was just excessive. It's like you're almost like, oh, I'm free, so I've got to make the most of it, else I'm going to run out of time. And you end up, probably making yourself feel miles worse than you would do. The good thing is, if you're a new parent, it subsides. I'm at a stage now where I sort of don't really go out very much, but it doesn't really bother me, because I've got a lot of hobbies. Like I like the guitar, I like recording music, and I like I like playing on, basic PC games like simulators and stuff like that. So there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. What absolutely staggers me is the amount of people that are holding their phone and texting while they're driving, and then they hide it underneath they hide it down to their right side to try and make it look like they're not doing anything. And you can tell they're just not paying attention to the road at all. You can see them roll forward, and then the realization hits that they nearly crashed into the car in front, and like, oh my god. And you're like, well, if you're going to look down to your right hand side and text while your phone's between your legs, it's only going to go one way, that really, isn't it? Let's be fair. Let's stand still. With transit vans, is it like a badge of honour that you have to have a dent in the side of it? This is not looking good. This is rather ridiculous. I appear to be in a car park. This is not good. No one's going to let me across, which is rather annoying. All I'm going to do is cause problems. Oh, they let me across, I hope. No, that'd be too easy, wouldn't it? Fine, let's go and try my luck down here, shall we? It looks clear. Let's give it a go. It's ridiculous, this is. This is no good. I hate that when people block the roundabout. Like, it's always an HGV comes around a roundabout and just stops. And it's like it absolutely annihilates anyone from crossing the roundabout when they could have just waited like 6 meters back. Now we're all stuck. They've basically just held up an entire queue of traffic. It's just awful judgment. It's ridiculous. So annoying. What an arse. There you go, that's Royal Mail for you. Outstanding bit of driving. Fucking donut. What a fool. It's like, obviously you're driving an HGV, so don't block the entire road off. It's like, it's annoying. That's like, they have them stupid labels on the back of these fucking trucks that say things like, how am I driving? Dial this number. How am I driving? How the fuck are you going to dial that number? And how are you going to remember that number? It's ridiculous. Stupid. There should be a way that you can talk into your phone and like quote the number plate and the company of the truck that's driving like a twat, or the van that's driving like a twat, and then do it that way. You know, like based around the kind of voice activation thing. You just go to your phone, someone's driving like a twat, take this. And then they go, how's my driving? And your phone says, how's my driving? And you go, right, here we fucking go. And that's how you do it. It's just irritating. Like, you're never going to call that number unless you've got a passenger who's going to go, oh, I'll just put that into my phone and I'll give them a ring when I get home and give them a piece of my mind. There should be a way to capture it in real time. Like a dash cam taps into it and then just goes like, yeah, no, that, look, here we go. And it shows like the truck, the company, or the van, the company, stuff like that. Mental. It's wild. Yes, there's a surprise. There's an Audi driver who doesn't know where his indicator is. Good lad. Anyway, we're on the move now. Doesn't look too bad. Half chilly today though, isn't it? Like, I realised it was turning last night. When I left work, it was like 6 degrees. And I was like, oh. Then apparently this morning it was like, I think it was 5 or 6. And it's going to be a high of 8 or something like that. The sun's so fierce. It's crazy. It's amazing how some of the trees are still quite green. I thought they'd all be brown by now. There's quite a few that are still quite lush in their greenery. Proper dangerous, in it, when you get magpies or crows and they're eating like a carcass in the road and they leave it till the last minute to get out of the way. Like, if you were going a certain speed, surely you'd clip them eventually. Like, that's going to make a mess, isn't it? I remember once when I worked in London, we were walking down, so I think it's platform 8, and it's one of those platforms where you have the normal train on the left, like your standard, does the 10 stops, tops out at like 70 miles an hour or whatever, and then to the right it was like the Virgin, I can't remember what they're called, Avantime or whatever, the really quick train. And I saw everyone was up the front, like stopping and looking. I'm thinking, why are they looking at the front of a train for? I thought, do I want to know? Like, what's happened to that? Why is everyone looking at the front of this train? But I had to walk past it anyway to get on the train a bit further up. And I looked right, it was disgusting. And what happened is, this train obviously hit a pigeon, but the pigeon was basically stuck to the headlight of the train. So it just sort of like obviously got smack straight into it. It's like that, and all you could see was its like body. It was minging, and the head had gone obviously because it hit the train. And man, I don't know how fast they go, but I think they do like 120 miles an hour, don't they, or something, maybe more. And of course, it's hit a pigeon, and it's got stuck to the front. And people were taking photos. I didn't. I was like, oh, that's grim. But people were stopping and actually taking a photo. But I suppose everything is content, innit? You know what I mean? It's a bit grim. Oh dear. It is not a good day for traffic today. It's pretty congested. So, elephant in the room, dare I say it, American election. I don't really want to go into it too much. I'll be fair, I don't know much about the ins and outs of it, but I would love someone to just explain to me. Don't have to be harsh, just gently explain to me if the incoming president of the United States has a criminal record. Because I don't know if the guy was ever charged, was he? Like, I know he's been like caught doing lots of things, but is he convicted or is he not? And if he is convicted, when he gets in, could he then expunge his criminal record as president? Because I know last time he was in, he just kept on signing executive orders to get round any sort of house votes or whatever they want to call it. But I really don't know what people think. Like, I don't know. Is he a breath of fresh air? Or is he a danger? And I don't know, because I don't know enough about American politics, right? I really don't. But then was it just a change vote? Has it got anything to do with individuals, or is it just the fact that people just hacked off like they were in England, and they just wanted to get rid of the party that had made them absolutely skin? And we're all still feeling the effects, aren't we? We're all still brassic. But I always think with this, it's a bit like mobile phone providers, isn't it? Like, they're all shit, but you have to pick one. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't expect to see any changes. I think that whole thing where people just say, all you can do is just kind of trust your family and then do your best for your family. That's about it. Because you can't control anything else. It's that thing that's so hard to hit home to yourself, is that, you can't worry about things you can't control. But that's easier said than done. It's like your mind just races and starts trying to think about things, and you're like, but you have no control over them whatsoever. So why is my mind getting involved? Why is it not just like, absolutely nothing you can do there, chief? Ignore it. That's what I'm trying to train myself to do. If anyone's got any tips, let me know. How do I stop myself overthinking and worrying about things I have absolutely zero control over? Do I employ those strategies that a lot of people do, where they sort of say, Bruce Lee apparently used to say, if you had a negative thought, he used to envisage lighting it and then burning it, so the negative thought left immediately. Or The other one I got told once, which worked for a little while, which I thought was quite good, is that like when you're laying in bed and your head starts racing, you can imagine yourself walking to the back of a boat and dropping the thought off the back into the ocean, and then like obviously the boat just carries on going and that thought disappears. And that worked for a little while. That was quite good, but now I seem to have lost the ability to do that as well now. So it's very frustrating because I'm wasting thought on things that I just can't do anything about. It's annoying because I'm like one of the most forgetful people ever. My partner will tell you that. It drives her absolutely mad. And the last thing I need is to fill my head with any more nonsense. Like, I'm bad enough as it is remembering stuff, so I don't need to fill it full of things that I cannot control. Going, oh, when can I control that? What can I do? Why do people throw stuff into like the hedges by motorways? It's just ridiculous. Like, why are they all throwing shrink wrap out and stuff like that? And they're always throwing rubbish and boots and, you know, high-vis jackets and stuff. I mean, the high-vis jacket thing, I get that. It's probably where they tie it to like long items that are sticking out the back of their van, and it probably just comes off. But it's like the amount of money it must cost. Like, I'm on a stretch of road here that's probably 3 miles long, and the amount of crap that is in the hedgerow and in the central reservation is just ridiculous. I mean, how much does it cost to get a crew of people to go, right, drive along that 3 mile stretch of motorway and then pick up individual bits of rubbish and put them in the back of your truck, and then we'll throw them down the landfill? Like, it's just fucking stupid. Just keep the rubbish in the car. Then when you stop at a garage, just put it in the bin. Mental. It's like the whole fly tipping thing, isn't it? Like, just don't do it. Just go down the tip and chuck it there. You're just going to bloody knacker the land that you're throwing the stuff on. You're just going to contaminate it. It's crazy. This is very slow going. Not good. We are not moving. Oh, we're off. Albeit short. Oh God. At least the sky's blue. That's a nice touch. Also, if anyone's got any tips how to clear unsecured debt, give me a shout. There's just one really annoying thing I just want to get rid of. And there's always people talking about day trading and stuff like that. Is it really that easy? Or is it one of those things that if it was that easy, everyone would do it? Because obviously I don't sign up for any of these universities. Trading university. But has anyone actually successfully used day trading to sort of really change their position without investing an absolute ton of cash? Like, is it actually possible to do this 10 to like £1,000 that people always say they can do? I'd be really interested if anyone's actually pulled that off. There's a guy next to me in a Volkswagen GTI, and he's put a letter on it saying revved. You can probably hear the bloody music. I don't know what it is. It's so low, I don't know how it turns corners. I always think to myself, when you do modifications, to certain cars and they're not done well, I just think, are you not just destroying the car more? Because surely if that made the car better, the manufacturer would do it. You know, you always get these souped up cars and then when they drive past, they're incredibly loud and they bang and pop and all that sort of stuff, which is all cool, do you know what I mean? But like, you know, like Ferraris and Lambos do that anyway. They just do that because the way they're engineered. You know, when someone does it to their Seat Leon Cupra, you just think, is that not just making it worse? Because if it was that easy to tune a car to make it go faster, why is it they always smell like they're burning excess fuel and stuff like that? Like, they never smell particularly healthy. They go past and like say they're a year old and you think that ain't gonna last long, is it? And I was even speaking to someone at work the other day and they were saying that a lot of the BMWs, not the M3s and M5s and stuff, but a lot of the motorsport versions where it's like, you know, 240M, apparently, like, I was being told to steer absolutely clear of them second hand because people always muck around with them and piss around with the platform and retune them and stuff like that, and it apparently cocks them up. And I've always thought that as well, like Nissan GTRs, why do people mess around with them? Like, aren't they extremely quick anyway? And then people say, you know, they do 1,000 horsepower, but surely that's you can never buy that car second hand. Surely that's had it. You know, when that comes back after 3 years and it's had all this shit done to it, surely it's just, you might as well scrap it, mightn't you? Because the engine will be so stretched. Unless it's done by, like, you know, Nissan Motorsport or like a sort of an expert motor tuner. Surely these cars that get all these weird tunings and chips and stuff, does it cock them up in the end if you over chip it? I'm not saying maybe add one chip where you remap it and it gives it a little bit more oomph, I get that. But you know, when people go to the extreme and, you know, it's got flames and stuff coming out the back, like I know like Ferraris and stuff do that anyway because of their turbos reburning and stuff. But when it's done to like an everyday car, what does it do to it? Like, for argument's sake, if I want to go and buy myself, I don't know, an ST Fiesta, right, or a Volkswagen R. If I could afford a car like that, or an Audi RS4, or, you know, BMW M3, in the unlikely event I can afford a car like that, what are the chances of me getting a good one second hand? Or is it just a given that they're screwed because they've been blasted to shit? I always wonder, if you bought a second hand car like that, let me know. What's the best one to get? So I really fancied one of those, is it the Hyundai M30i or whatever it is, the quick one. But they're like really expensive now second hand, because apparently I don't think there's many about. I don't know if they still make them, I'm assuming they do, but the sort of old fashioned one that was like a challenger to the Golf R or whatever, like, I thought they'd be really cheap, they're not. And again, that's another car. What is that like when you buy that second hand? Because I had a Jaguar once, and I bought a Jaguar and it had 15,000 miles on it, but it was a 14 plate, but it had 15,000 miles on it. It was immaculate. It was the 3-litre V6 turbo diesel XF. It was beautiful car, leather, everything, ridiculously quick. I think like I paid like 15k for it, okay. But I think when they're brand new, they were like 60,000 or 70,000 or something. So it had absolutely everything. It had like white leather, it had the wooden dash. Lovely. And we drove it, it was beautiful, you know, it just wafted along the road. But then one day, it sort of, you know, the old dashboard started flashing, and because whoever had owned it before had done the equivalent of 2,500 miles a year. Now, for a 3-litre twin turbo V6, that's probably not going to do it any good, is it? Or twin turbo, whatever it is, single turbo, I can't remember. But we, you know, it went crazy and the alarm started going off, and I managed to nurse it back home anyway. Anyway, I took it down to the garage to have it repaired, and what had happened is the alternator had gone. So anyway, that was like, it was a fortune to have this alternator replaced. But of course, the problem with it was, as soon as the new alternator went in, it affected the rest of the car, because the rest of the car had been spent its whole life just limping around because it hadn't been driven properly. So it was ridiculous. And so I had the alternator done, which cost like, God knows, a lot. And then it started cocking up the rest of the engine. So then I had another light come on, and the car went into limp mode. And what had happened is the turbo outlet valve or inlet valve had gone. That was another nearly £1,000 to have that replaced, and it got retuned as well. I thought that's that, and then I drove it again and it started playing up again, and then I sold it because it needed remapping or something, because it had a new turbo inlet valve which cost a fortune. It had a new alternator. But my theory, whether this is correct, is that because it had been limped around so long, as soon as we started driving it properly and putting some miles on it, all the parts, as soon as the alternator broke, we replaced it, and then all the parts that had been used to like a sloppy alternator then started cocking up, because they were like, oh, hold on a second, I'm getting a bit of a beat in here. So they all started failing, and I was like, Jesus. It was like, I thought, I cannot keep this car, I've got to get rid of it. But yeah, it was a beautiful car. Absolutely beautiful. Also, the other reason I had to get rid of it was because of bloody ULEZ. It wasn't ULEZ compliant, which was so annoying. But that was a great car. Absolutely banging. Never mind. It will come. Those days will come again. That's if there is any monstrous petrol cars flying around, when I can afford something that gets down the road that quickly. Having said that, I mean, I don't know, electric cars get down the road pretty quick, don't they? The only thing I've noticed about electric cars is they seem to have ridiculously bright headlights. And the most annoying thing is, I found this last night. I was driving along, and it was like one of the new Kias, I think, like whatever they're called, Electronic or Genic or whatever fish they're called. And one of them was behind me. It was fine. It wasn't like doing anything annoying, like it wasn't tailgating or just driving along. But what happened was, because the headlights were so bright, every time it hits a bump, it looks like it's flashing you. So it gets you really irked, because you think, why are they flashing me for? I'm not doing anything wrong. And the car's bumping along, and it's going boom, 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 because the lights are dipping and troughing. And all you see in your rear view mirrors is just, it looks like someone's flashing you. And you think, oh, for fuck's sake, stop flashing me into that. But they're not doing anything wrong. It's just the car. It's just the headlights are so bright, every time it bumps, it gives the impression that it's flashing you, and it isn't. It drives me mental. You think, what's his problem? He hasn't got a problem. It's just the headlights in his car doing it. So yeah, that's an interesting concept. It's very irritating. But yeah, I'm sure they're not doing it. They're not flashing you. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. Making a bit of headway now. We've got through all the pinch points. I'd love a pickup truck as well. I really want a pickup truck. Do I have to get different insurance if I bought a pickup truck? Like, do you have to have commercial insurance, or can you just have a normal car insurance? What, like a SsangYong Musto, or like a Toyota Hilux, or a Ford Ranger, something like that. Tell you what I am enjoying at the moment though, I'm really enjoying the game Contractville. Anyone else play that? Really enjoying that. The only thing I struggle with is, what do you do, right? If there's anyone that knows what to do here, you only do a job in Contractville on the PC, and you have leftover plaster buckets and paint. They're still painting them and plaster and stuff. What do you do with them? Do you just keep them? Is there a way to sell them? Or should I be hitting them with the hammer to turn them into recycling bags and then put them in the bin and then eventually take it down the tip in the game to get the money back? If anyone knows what to do in Contractville, put it in the comments. I need help, because at the moment, my truck that I'm driving around in Contractville, or where I'm living, the trailer, it's like surrounded by like half used paint cans and sofas that people didn't want. The sofas, can I sell them, or do I have to go to a pawn shop once I've unboxed them? Because I went to do a job in Contractville and I bought the wrong sofa, so I packaged it back up again. Can I sell that back at the original shop, or do you have to go to the pawn shop and sell it that way? Let me know. It's just annoying, because I'm surrounded by half used stuff and I don't know what to do with it. Do I keep it for another job, or is that unlikely? Don't know. But if anyone knows Contractville, what the tip is, tell me. I'm also seeing a lot of people play Planet Coaster as well. Like the look of it, but it is 35 quid at the moment, so it's expensive. So is the Zoo one. Planet Zoo looks really good. I really want to play it. Again, it's like 35 quid. If you do want to see any streams, I've started streaming on my YouTube channel episodes for Game Cafe. I've also got some of my original music on there, and I've also got some information videos about different guitar effects pedals. So if you don't know about me, I'm going to do an unashamed plug here. So as well as doing this sort of stuff, I like to write music, I like to play music, I like to record it. I also like to post a lot on YouTube. So if you're interested in original music, you've probably seen some of my song covers and stuff on my timeline. But yeah, go and check out on YouTube, see if there's any songs that are any good. I mean, some of them are crap, right? Some of them I did in the early days are shit. But I thought it's unfair to take it down, right? Because when I first started recording music, I'm not saying I'm really good at it now, right? So don't get excited. I know you wouldn't. But when I first started recording, I think I used, was it Soundtrap? And I used Soundtrap, and I used a G book, right? So I didn't even have a PC. It was a Google ProBook, and I managed to record my first kind of music using Soundtrap and a Google PC or a Google book. And I was like, oh, and I was thinking I thought it sounded really good though when I first did it. And then gradually over the years, I've probably been recording music for like, I don't know, 2-3 years or whatever. And I've released like 90 odd tracks or something, but you know, some of them are a bit ropey, as you'd expect. But I thought it's unfair, isn't it, to take them down, because other people might be starting going, oh, you know, it doesn't sound good, or, you know, not everyone can just do their first recording and it comes straight out the other side as this amazing thing. You just can't. You have to kind of go through that stage. And, you know, I'm still learning. There's so much to learn. And, you know, one of the most like annoying things that I'm trying to do at the moment is I've just started using, or I've just kind of mastered halfway the art of using piano rolls, drum programming, stuff like that. But yeah, so like obviously like some of the stuff I'm doing now is a lot better than it was, you know, 2 years ago. But yeah, go and have a look. YouTube, Glary Moore and me, or Glary Moore, Paul Holmes, and go and have a look. There's a lot of instrumentals. The instrumentals are pretty decent, you know, because they, you know, I'm a guitar player really. That's kind of what I started doing. I started playing guitar when I was like 14, you know. So I'm all right. I can do a bit of blues, stuff like that. So a lot of the instrumentals are pretty strong, you know. But then, yeah, there's a lot of sort of songs where actually, do you know, I do write a lot of songs, and I'm actually quite pleased and proud of the lyrics and the music. But I mean, you know, recording vocals is an art in itself. So even though I try singing, you know, I'm all right. You know, I'm better. Weirdly, I sound better singing live when I've got a guitar and everything than I do trying to record a vocal track. Like recording vocals is just, it's a whole different world. It's an absolute nightmare. You know, the timing and stuff that goes with vocals is just like the slightest, like if you're outside in the slightest, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. You know, you need like an engineer sitting there that is kind of like clipping it and putting it together. You know, like these top engineers can, you know, they can take the best parts of a vocal performance, if there's like 10 vocal performances, and they can cut them and edit them into one really good sounding track. Whereas obviously, you know, I'm sitting at home on my kitchen table with my Asus ProBook, you know, it still does a good job, right? And I've got Cubase and I've got like a Focusrite 2x2 and stuff. So you know, I could get a decent sound out of it. But yeah, you know, honestly, vocals and stuff, you know, when it comes to timing, or it's just like one of the hardest things I find is trying to do loops. Like, you know, when you like, again, if anyone's got any really good tips for this, you know, when you find yourself a really nice chord progression, and you just kind of like say it's 5 chords, right, and you loop them round. I can never get the loop to sound right. I never do it so I could just record. You know, like I see most people recording like 5 bars and going, oh, here we go. Or they record the first 4 bars, they loop it a few times, and that's it, job done. I just can't seem to like do that. And I don't know where I'm going wrong. If anyone can point me in the direction of something that tells you how to do that properly, let me know. Because I just think, you know, some people, like, they knock up a loop and they're like, there we go. And you're like, what? You know, I just struggle with it. You know, sometimes when I'm doing guitar tracks, I'll just play through the whole song. I won't just record the guitar part over 4 bars and then redo it. I literally will do the whole thing. I do it in one take, and that's like stressful as. But if anyone's got any tips for that, let me know. Because I'd be really interested how to get my loop game up to speed, you know. Because I think I'm missing the trick. Like, if anyone knows anything that's a really good guide on how to sort of increase, you know, the quality of your recordings, let me know. Because I've got a book on Cubase, but it's very kind of academic. It's about 1,000 pages, and it's like, you know, it's all about how you click on the preset library and stuff. And it's like I can do that like myself. I just want to know how. I start with a blank canvas and I record a 4-bar loop that I can cycle so it doesn't sound like it's been chopped in the middle, and then I can then record a loop for the chorus, say, or part 2, without sounding like it's got a chunk missing out of it. Because when I do loops, it's like I get the first bit sounds all right, and then it goes, and then it starts again, and it just doesn't sound right. I've tried cross-fading and everything. It's bizarre. If anyone's got any tips, or you want to go and check out some of my songs, please do. Let me know how it goes. Also, check out my gaming stream, stuff like that. You know, not sure what it's like or what people think of it, but yeah, I'm quite proud of some of the songs on there, you know. You got to plug it, haven't you? I also wrote a couple of books, but they're a bit childish. I wrote a book that's on Amazon called Childish Observations of an Adult Mind, and it was about all my stuff when I was younger, when I used to go out and get myself in situations that most 20-year-olds would do. So yeah, go and check it out. But yeah, if you look at, there's all links everywhere. But yeah, if you check out Glary Moore or Paul Holmes on YouTube, you'll see it all. Game streams, original music, and that sort of stuff. But yeah, if there's anything you want me to talk about, drop it in the comments. If there's anything you want me to record or anything you'd like to see played live, let me know. And I'll do it. Or any games you want to stream. And also, drop your tips in for recording loops and playing Contractville. That'd be very helpful. Nice one. Right, journey done. That's that. Laters.